In today's video, how to add more muscle.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from Physique.com, and thank you for checking out today's video. We are going to talk about just what it takes to add more muscle. Does it all come down to genetics? Does it come down to how much testosterone you have running through your body? The question came from my Instagram direct message. So here's my Instagram on the screen for you guys. If you want to send a question to my DM, I will screenshot it and I'll answer it according to, based on how I feel the question is kind of related to what's going on currently. And I felt this was a good one because the young lady that asked this question, and I'll put it on the screen here for you, just really wanted to know why she sees some girls at the gym that don't seem to train as hard or as frequently as she does, yet they might have more muscle. She was wondering, did it have something to do with genetics, or does it have something to do with the fact that maybe they have better hormone profiles to maintain or build muscle? And certainly all of those are factors. So what's most important when it comes to building muscle is the idea that we don't think about those things. And here's why. If you get it in your head that you don't have the genetics to put on muscle, or that you don't have the hormones to put on muscle, and guess what? You will not put on muscle. You are already self-defeating. If that's the path that your mind goes down, guess what happens? The body follows. Your decision making follows. Well, why should I go to the gym if it's just going to be hard for me to put on muscle? Why should I stick to my diet if it's going to be hard for me to put on muscle? That's the thinking that happens. Are those things a factor? Absolutely. Genetics, probably without a doubt, the #1 factor in muscle building potential, okay? There are some people, they are few and far between, but they simply just wake up and are jacked. They don't really have to do much, okay? Some amazing athletes come to mind, people like Bo Jackson, who you may or may not be familiar with because as old, but he was someone who was famous for, although they put him in pictures with weight machines, never lifted a weight. Yet he could do things athletically that few people on this planet could ever do. So yes, genetics matter. However, you are not in control of your genetics, okay? Outside of taking exogenous hormones, you're not going to change your genetics, okay? What we are going to change is our habits, our daily decision making. Now, what I find with females is that generally the idea of building muscle and staying in the process of building gets interrupted quite frequently because you want to look good for the beach, you want to look good for summer, you want to look good for the photo shoot, for the expo. Insert short-term reason that you decide to stop focusing on your long-term goals. So this weekend I gave a presentation at the Olympia on Sunday with Lane and Holly and Andres, and if you haven't watched yesterday's video, one of the topics that I talked about was not focusing so much on your short-term goals that you never reach your long-term goals. In fact, I'm going to be doing a seminar on October 20th here in Tampa. If you guys want to come see me speak, meet some athletes, see Lauren, we can talk more about this stuff in person. It's called the FemalePhysiqueSeminar.com. The idea is that women, more so than men, tend to stop what they're doing because of a short-term goal. They want to look good for the bridal shower. They want to look good for the reunion. No one places as much pressure on a female as that girl does, okay? No one from the outside is as worried about how you look as you are. So sometimes you have to get out of your own head, okay? Take a picture, chop your head off, and compare it to a picture of another person. Most likely, you are going to find that you are exceptional in the way that you look. However, when you see someone at the gym and they have more muscle or they're leaner than you, you get frustrated. Why? That person does not deal with your set of circumstances, exactly as you stated. And you don't know the history of them. You stated in your question that this person wasn't training legs, but they looked bigger than your legs. Well, how do you know they haven't been training legs for 30 years? How do you know they weren't a gymnast? How do you know they weren't a professional powerlifter? How do you know they don't train legs at a different gym? Sometimes I do that. So people at my gym might think, man, this guy never trains legs. I like to train legs at different gyms. So you don't actually know the history of every single person you're seeing. You're simply taking your intuition and your preconceived notions and putting it on that person and then telling yourself, well, they just have better genetics. Maybe not. Maybe they've just been putting in 5, 10, 15, 20 years of lifting. As someone who was overly skinny growing up and who decided to lift weights anyway. It just became my love. And granted, I realize I am never going to look like some of the bodybuilders that I look up to, okay, that are what I would consider my ideals. And I've accepted that, but that doesn't mean that I don't continue to push myself to look better than I have ever looked before. I am the best version of me. And it's actually made this journey and this process much more enjoyable because I don't focus on other people anymore. I don't worry about what other people look like. I just did a competition and I could have cared less who showed up. I had the best day I've ever had competing, and it didn't matter to me if I got first or last, okay? Now, that's a hard place to get to when you're coming from where you're at and you're comparing yourself to everyone else. But I promise you, if you put your head down, do the work for years after years, the physique will get there. Just stop taking the time to focus on little short-term goals. Allow yourself to build muscle. If you are cutting more often than you are building, guess what? Your physique is going backwards, okay? We need to be allowing a building phase to happen for a long time. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Short but sweet, back from the Olympia. It's Tuesday. I'm excited to do videos this week, so send me those questions, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
By myself.